Welcome, everyone. Can we have everyone take their seats and get started? Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Soul of India program. My name is Kush Kripalani, and I will be your MC this evening. Before we begin today's program, I'd like for us to all take a moment, get grounded in our space and in our thoughts, and as a community, come together to embrace this experience we are about to partake on. And in doing so, I would love for us all to take one big deep breath, let it all out, followed by 3 Oms and 3 Shantis. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all. That was so beautiful. Today's program is in celebration of the 75th anniversary of Indian independence and our most auspicious holiday of the year, Diwali, bringing lightness within all of us and sharing it all around the world. Today's event has been organized by the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual Organization, a worldwide network of over 9,000 centers in more than 130 countries. The first of which was founded in Mount Abu, India in the 1930s. This organization leads with compassion and teaches Raj Yoga meditation as a way of experiencing peace of mind as a positive approach to life. As we commemorate today's program, we will kick it off with our Indian and American national anthem. I'm thrilled to introduce our Indian national anthem speakers. Please join me in welcoming my dear brother and sister-in-law, Chirag and Navita Kirpalani. Chirag and Navita have been married for the past 6 years and reside in Greenwich, Connecticut with their adorable dog, Cher. Chirag leads his space in the wealth management world, and Navita leads her space in the tech world. Their unique qualities bring them together in a fun, loving, and bubbly life. Welcome, Chirag and Navita, and may I ask that we all rise for the national anthems. Please join us on stage, Chirag and Navita. round of applause for them and round of applause for all of you. That was beautiful. I will now introduce Nena Ortega as our American National Anthem speaker. Nena attends the Goshen Intermediate School. She is currently training for her black belt and loves gymnastics. She is learning Kathak dance from Guru Abba Roy. Welcome, Nena. You want to stand here? Thank you, Nena. That was so beautiful. I will now introduce Sister Madhavi to set the context and intention for today's program. Sister Madhavi has been a student of Raja Yoga meditation for the past 28 years and is presently the coordinator of activities for the Brahma Kumaris in Queens, New York. Welcome, Sister Madhavi.
Thank you, Kush. Om Shanti. So let me actually tell you how happy I'm feeling right now. Really, feeling really happy to have you all. And I think after 3 years, the Brahma Kumaris Queens Center is doing a public program in a public venue. So it's just so wonderful to have all of you. And I think wonderful people have actually gathered in this hall. And let me definitely say thank you to Assembly Women for taking time and coming to us. Jennifer Rajkumar. A few months ago, I met her in one of the events, and I really wanted, to have Assembly Women with us. So thank you for making time. And of course, all the performers. Abha, thank you for making time. Shubhani, Brahmacharini Shubhani, she is with us from Chinmaya. So thank you for being. Nana, thank you. Were you okay singing? She came into the hall and she said, oh, so many people. I didn't think so many people will be there. And I don't know how I'm going to sing. And you did great. Wonderful. And how can I forget Dr. Kalusipuri sitting here, the women of dignity and high values. You're such an inspiration for many. Thank you for what you do. And of course, Sister Gayatri, taking her time from her busy schedule. She's with us. And actually, unfortunately, we are missing Imam, Dr. Shamshi Ali this evening because due to some personal reasons, he's unable to join us. And we just got a message from him. He's unable to join. And I think at some point we will be having also Senator John Liu joining us, which is absolutely wonderful as well. So we have gathered here this afternoon to celebrate the soul of India, right? Yes. So let me ask you, when you think of soul of India, what comes to your mind? Huh? Diwali, okay. Diwali, what else? Brahma Kumaris, okay. Okay, what else? Peace, okay. Independence, wonderful. Yes, Nana. Love, how sweet. I think that's what we're going to do this afternoon, exploring the values that India, Bharat, has given to the world, what Bharat has actually given to each soul. And when we think of soul, just think about this word soul. Just take a moment, you know, and just feel when you say soul of India. You know, when you say, when you're really listening from your inner heart, what you say, like my soul is listening, right? So it's something which is very, very authentic when we say soul. It's that we're touching, when we say soul of India, we're touching the purity of spirituality. We're touching the great generosity that India brings to the world, the charity. And one of the most beautiful things about Bharat or India is family. Don't you think so? Families, which has such great value, being in a family. So this afternoon, we have these wonderful souls with us. So let us actually sit down, relax. And for just 2 hours, please do not look at your time to rush anywhere. Just relax, sit down, and let's create that beautiful vibe in this room where each one's heart is touched as we celebrate our Independence Day and also as we celebrate Diwali, which is touching the light inside all of us and also touching the light in others as well. So just take a moment and look around to the person who is sitting next to you, the wonderful soul who is next to you. And just look around and feel the vibe and the beauty in each one. So thank you once again for being here. Let's celebrate Soul of India, Bharat. Om Shanti.
Before we share a short clip from our regional director, Sister Mohini, I'd like to introduce the board president at Glow Cultural Center, Mr. Jerry Lowe, who has offered us such a beautiful venue for today's program to share us a few words. Mr. Jerry Lowe.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Glow Center. Basically, this is not only the community center over here, it's your community center. Remember, next year, come here to celebrate the new year. Happy New Year. Because we need more different culture over here so that we can exchange it. Just like us, we're Chinese basically, so we have a Chinese New Year. Until I just know, oh, this is the independence for Indian independence, 75 years, and it's a Indian New Year, right? So it's good for us to know about that. And I hope you guys can come often so we can all exchange our culture. We know each other better. Okay? Thank you very much. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
The Brahma Kumaris in America invite you to celebrate Mother India's 75th year of independence as we take time to feel the soul of India. Throughout time, India and America have had strong relations built on mutual respect and contributions to its progress and development. We'd like to take you on a journey. As we descend on earth and begin to play out our parts, we marvel at the incredible mysticism of India, the diversity of religions, the colors, the joyfulness, the prayers, the love and reverence for God. And as we ventured abroad to find new opportunities, we excelled and became doctors, entrepreneurs, and scientists. We made an impact in politics, business, fashion, the arts, and more. We brought our family values, value for education, generosity, hard work, and our hearts to America. We entertain, and most importantly, we uplift lives. Ours is a learning and growing relationship, and now, together we celebrate 75 years of India's independence. When we look inside ourselves, we ask, who am I? Who do I belong to? Where am I from? And we begin by seeing ourselves as souls, first connected to the Supreme, belonging to the One, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, truly the world as one family. One of our greatest contributions have been music and dance. Did you know that many dances are a sacred expression of a story in the scriptures? Dance has brought us to a deeper place in ourselves. Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Odissi, these dances continue to remind us of the sacredness within. Our spirituality is deep. The studies, stories, scriptures, the celebration of knowing that the deepest part of the soul, the energy that we are, that inner light, is our spiritual potential, and we brought it here to enhance America's glory. It has been embraced and loved by all walks of life. 38 million people practice yoga. We love that Diwali is a favorite holiday in America now. Our roots, our values, they are intrinsic, just as yours, and we are proud to be a part of the fiber of the United States and to call this home. Let this be our pride as we celebrate the world's largest democracy, India's 75 years of love, values, soul, light. The Brahma Kumaris in America.
Om Shanti. Greetings of love and peace. We are so happy to celebrate our 75th year of independence of India, and we call it as Amrit Mahotsav. But in the United States, we all decided to celebrate at different places with the theme of Soul of the India, because the message which the culture of India gives us is the message of there is victory in truth. Our code of arms says, Satyame May Jayanti. There is always victory where there is truth. And one of the immortal truth is about one's own self. Understanding of the soul as immortal, as loveful, as peaceful. Look at yourself and everyone else as a soul. So the whole spirit, the soul of India is of joy and happiness, brotherhood, love, sharing. Our festival is about Diwali, the festival of lights. If you imagine just 2 weeks before this festival, everyone decorates their homes, clean their home, buy new clothes, new pots, gold stuff, and so there is lot of shopping, lot of joy, rich, poor, everyone is on the street. And then they celebrate it by having lot of lights around. There are lights, there are earthen lamps, there are candles, different kinds of lights, and they decorate it. And the whole festivity everywhere, every day, at least for 10 days, they have some ceremony or other. So, soul of India is, of course, there is freedom, there is independence. Everyone has right to practice their faith. Everyone has right to do their own way of worshiping and celebration. With so many different religions, so many different cultures, so many different languages, we all live together. There is a lot of harmony. Yes, few clashes do happen, but that's few people always think differently and become fundamentalist. Otherwise, there is a lot of love, brotherhood, and everyone believes in God. Maybe in different forms, but we know that this whole world is like a big tree with different branches and with one trunk. But in that trunk also, there is only one seed. So God is one, and He likes seed, a point of light. And from that seed, the roots, then one trunk, and from that trunk grows so many different branches. But finally, again, from the same branches, the seed become one. So we all have one God, we all have one family, and we live together and share together. So keeping that spirit of independence, keeping that faith in one God as seed, we live in harmony with love and always think of one who is our creator, who sustains us, who provides us, our common parents. So my good wishes for this gathering, and I'm sure what you all will share in your talks will be a good experience for each one of us to listen and then to reflect on all that. So for a moment, in the silence, we together create very loveful feelings for the entire world of love, world of peace. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Moving forward into our candle lighting portion of our event today, we would like to invite the following special guest to stage. As you hear your name, please start to come to the stage to light the candle. Assemblywoman Jennifer Rajkumar, Brahmacharini Shubhani Chitnaya of Chinmaya, New York, Dr. Kalaspudi, Executive Director of India Home, Sister Gayatri of the Brahma Kumaris, New York, Mrs. Abba Roy, Director of Srijan Dance Center, our beautiful American national anthem singer, Nena Ortega, and our Indian singers, Navita and Chirag Karbalani, and last but not least, Miss Pavitra Rajiv. As we transition to the next part of our program, we will be welcoming lightning Bharatanatyam performance by Pavitra Rajiv. I will ask our dear friend Priya to introduce and give you a background on this very special performance. Welcome, Pavitra.
Om Shanti. So Pavitra Rajiv is a 10th grader at Frank Sinatra High School. She's also an avid equestrian. She's been learning how to ride horses for the past 9 years and competes in horse riding competitions. Today she will be performing Bharatanatyam dance representation of the Shiva Panchakshara Stotram, which is depicted by Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya, which represent the 5 elements, namely earth, water, wind, fire, and the ether. It's actually Shiva's association with the 5 elements is what this dance describes. This dance has been choreographed by her guru, Sri Sridhar Shanmugam, who is not here today with us, but he is the founder of the Navatman School of Performing Arts and also the founder of the Sri Shanishwara Temple in New Hyde Park.
दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय मंदाकिनी सलिल चंदन चर्चिताय नंदीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मंदाकिनी सलिल चंदन चर्चिताय नंदीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मंदार मुख्य बहु पुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय मंदार मुख्य बहु पुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्जवृन्दे सूर्याय दक्षाध्वर नाशकाय शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्जवृन्दे सूर्याय दक्षाध्वर नाशकाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै श्रीकाराय नमः शिवाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै श्रीकाराय नमः शिवाय वसिष्ठ कुंभोद्भव गौतमार्य मुनीन्द्र देवार्चित शेखराय वसिष्ठ कुंभोद्भव गौतमार्य मुनीन्द्र देवार्चित शेखराय चंद्रार्क वैश्वानर लोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय चंद्रार्क वैश्वानर लोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय पंचाक्षर
That was outstanding, Pavitra. Let's give her another round of applause. She had so much grace, so much enthusiasm, so much elegance. So what a beautiful special performance. Thank you so much. I would like to now take the time to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Ms. Jennifer Raj Kumar, to share a few words. Assemblywoman Jennifer Raj Kumar is a lawyer, professor, and a government leader who made history as the first South Asian American woman ever to be elected to a state office in New York. A graduate of Stanford Law School and the University of Pennsylvania, Jennifer has worked across the country to empower defranchised, vulnerable, and excluded individuals at both the national and local levels. Mouthful, right? I know. Welcome, Assemblywoman Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. Om Shanti Om. Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Raj Kumar, and I have the honor of being the first Indian American woman elected to a New York State office, and also the first Hindu American elected to a New York State office. And Goddess Durga showered me with her blessings. And that is why I stand here today. But there are special moments in all of our lives. And a couple of months ago, I was living the life of a busy elected official and running from thing to thing, and there was a crowd around me. And out of that crowd, the crowd parted, and 3 women emerged, and they were wearing white saris. And it seemed like they had a spiritual light around them. And they said, "Hello, Jennifer, we are the Brahma Kumaris." And it stuck with me in my subconscious. And they invited me here today. They found me and I found them. And that was a truly special moment. Now, Brahma Kumaris, the largest spiritual organization in the world run by women. It's extraordinary. Let's give them a round of applause. And from their home in Mount Abu, India, to their influence in over 110 countries, every continent, Nairobi, London, here in New York City. They have an incredible influence. And today we're talking about the soul of India, Atma. And when I think of the soul of India, I think of Mahatma Gandhi, who gave up all of his material possessions, except for how many? 5. And he said he's giving up the world of material possessions so he can focus on the spiritual, uplifting people. And it's really that Gandhian idea of service that drives me in my work as a public official. Giving up all your material goods so you can focus on what matters, which is uplifting people, and by making laws that can help people in this world. It also is similar to one of my favorite poets, the Sufi poet, Rumi. He says, something opens your wings. Something makes boredom and hurt disappear. Someone fills the cup in front of you. You taste only sacredness. It's that sacredness that to me is public service. And you also see it in Shakespeare when he describes what he loves. He says, "Thy love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings." I love you so much that I wouldn't even trade my place with a king. And to me, that's what public service is. But let me tell you a story. When I ran for this office, people told me, "Jennifer, you're a nice girl. You got no shot." But we won. Not only did we win, but we won by the largest margin of any challenger in the whole state. And through all of that, it's my spiritual values that guided me. Values that you're all familiar with. My dad used to tell me to focus, like Arjuna in the Mahabharata. He said there were 5 Pandav brothers, and they were all asked to shoot a bird. But only one of them could shoot the bird, and that was Arjuna. And when asked why, he said, "I saw only the eye of the bird." So to this day, my dad always tells me, focus on the eye. And we both know what that means. My parents also raised me with the story of the Ramayana. And he used to tell me, my dad, that Ram could not defeat Ravan without friends and allies. He needed Hanuman and the army of monkeys and bears. So my dad would say, no matter what task you undertake, you can't do it alone. You need friends and allies. And how true that is. For any great task, you need friends and allies. My family story is the story of every family here. My parents came to this country with just $300 and a suitcase. My mom was born in a mud hut in India. But they worked hard, like all of our families, and here we all are, in the greatest country on earth, where anybody can be elected to office, no matter what your background, if you're willing to put the work in, and if you have that love in your soul. And coming from the world's largest democracy of India, my mom was always very proud of democracy. And she would always say, this is a democratic household. So whenever we had a fight in the house, we would solve it through the family court system. One person would be a judge, one person would be a lawyer for one side, one person would be a lawyer for the other side, and we'd all gather in the kitchen and argue it out. And that's how I grew up, in the true democratic fashion. And I considered that normal. Years later, I became a lawyer, and my mom still wonders why. But those are the democratic values that we are all so proud of, coming from the world's largest democracy. And that has truly guided me, as well as the way that we all make education the center of our households. I was raised with education as the center. So I went to UPenn, I went to Stanford Law School, and I became an attorney so I could help people. And it's been a truly tremendous experience, devoting life to public service with those Gandhian values, with that love in your heart that the Brahma Kumaris talk about. They call it leading with love, governing with love. That's what the Brahma Kumaris say, which is so true. That's so resonant. I want to share with you a few things I was able to do as state assemblywoman. Number one, I bought New Yorkers a Diwali gift this Diwali. And that is that we're going to be making Diwali an official school holiday starting next year. And I was so honored to partner with Mayor Eric Adams to make this goal that we have fought for as a community for decades a reality. And it has garnered widespread support from Priyanka Chopra to the children here in Queens, who are so excited for how we are now going to be seen. We are 300,000 Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and now we are being seen and recognized. Also, there unfortunately has been a rise in hate crimes against Asian communities, an exponential rise, including against the Hindu American community. And central to my first term in office was helping to bring people together to make sure we can defeat this. Because as Hindus, we don't just believe in tolerance. We believe in one step more than tolerance. Mutual respect, actively loving people of different faiths and backgrounds like they're your own. I always grew up learning that Om is God. God is Om. But Om has many forms. Om can be Krishna. Om can be Durga. Om can be Jesus. Om can be Allah. So we have a very interfaith perspective, which makes us ideal for bringing people together in unity and defeating these forces of hate. So this is just the beginning for our community. Nobody thought that I'd be standing here, but the sky is the limit. And I'm not going to be the only Indian American woman elected to state office. There's others coming. And I'm here to help you and to bring you up. So I just want to say, Om Shanti Om. I want to say happy independence, 75th independence to India. Happy Diwali, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was so powerful, so loving, so divine. We really, really appreciate your words and all the actions that you are taking in this community. Now, I would like to introduce Mrs. Abha Roy, who is the director of the Srijan Dance Center, founded in 1992. She conducts Indian culture residences with both the New York City Department of Education and as a faculty member in the Flushing Town Hall Education Center. Please join me in a warm applause welcoming Mrs. Roy's Kathak dance.
I am really blessed because my first guru, my mother from Udaipur next to Abu, is here, and with her permission and everyone's permission, I would like to show one expressional part of Kathak dance, which is Bhakti Ras. Bhakti from Mirabai. Very close to Abu is Chittorgarh, and Meera Janami Medate Chittore Parnai. So the queen of Chittor, she denounced her throne. For what? She devoted herself in the feet of Lord Krishna to search for the truth. So Meera Bhajan, what is happening during that? You will know.
Thank you, Mrs. Roy. Let's just give her one more round of applause. What a beautiful expression of love. And I would challenge everyone to spin around that many times. But thank you, thank you, thank you. That was beautiful. Before we get into the next part of our program, I would like to introduce another very special guest of ours, Senator John Liu. He's a member of the Democratic Party and a member of the New York State Senate for the 11th District in Northeast Queens. In addition, he's the chairman for the New York City Education Committee. John immigrated from Taiwan at the age of 5 and graduated from Binghamton University, attaining his degree in mathematical physics. John currently lives here in Flushing with his wife, Jenny, and his son, Joey. Currently, John teaches municipal finance and public policy at the City University of New York and Columbia University. Welcome, John.
Namaste. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so delighted to be here with all of you. Every time I hear Assembly Member Raj Kumar's speech, I get inspired as well. I've known her for a very long time, and we're extremely proud of her. But also, it's a treat to have Brahma Kumaris right here in Flushing, this global organization of spirituality, bringing inspiration to the community here in Flushing and in New York City. And I'm just very happy to be part of this. I don't think you're here for speeches, so I'm not going to talk very much longer. The performances are amazing. The panel discussion is going to be enlightening. But I'm just very happy to have this occasion to get acquainted with Brahma Kumaris and all of you, and to wish you all not only a happy independence, 75th anniversary for India, but happy Diwali. Thank you.
Before we get into the last portion of our event, I would like to share a very special message from our beloved Dadi Janki. Dadi Janki was the former administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris from the year 2007 to 2020. From a very young age, her destiny became clear: to know the self, God, and serve humanity. Having lived for over a century, Dadi Janki touched millions of hearts all over the world. Her words continue to sing songs of deep spiritual understanding, and her wisdom challenges our own perception of who we are, of God, and our destiny. Enjoy this very, very sweet, special message from our sweet Dadi.
शांति। दिवाली मुबारक हो। तो दुनिया में भारत में दिवाली का कितना बड़ा महत्व है। हमारे भारतवासी दिवाली खुशी से मनाते हैं। तो दिवाली से चार बातें हमको लाइफ में देखने को, जानने को, सीखने को, जीवन में लाने को मिला है। दिवाली तभी मनाते हैं जैसे रामायण की कथा में दिखाया है, रावण को मारा। रावण है पांचवें कार, जो नर का पांचवें कार, नारी का पांचवें कार, दोनों को मिला के कहते हैं 10 शीश वाला रावण। तो रावण 10 शीश वाला, उसको मारने के लिए पहले नवरात्रि आती है परमात्मा से शक्ति ले। जैसे नया चौपड़ा रखते हैं, पुराने को फिनिश करते हैं, तो पुराना जो कुछ हमारे कर्मों के खाते में जो बुराइयां हैं, जो कमियां हैं, वो सारी फिनिश। और नई जो अच्छी दिवाली आ रही है, नई दुनिया आ रही है, लक्ष्मी नारायण का राज आ रहा है, उसके लिए हमको ऐसी दीपावली मनाने के लिए ओम शांति।
Let's send Daddy one big Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. As we transition to the panel portion of our program with our special guests, please join me in welcoming to the stage our moderator, Abhishek Kalra. Abhishek is a Raja Yoga student who currently lives in Peace Village, which is a spiritual learning retreat center operated by the Brahma Kumaris in the Catskill region. Abhishek has been on this spiritual journey for the last 12 years. Growing up in India, he's lived in Hong Kong, South Korea, Germany, Sweden, and London, and in the US since 2015. He plays a role of running sales for a tech startup and is constantly looking for ways to integrate and synergize the worldly and spiritual lives. Welcome, Abhishek.
Thanks a lot, Kush. I have to say that whenever I see or hear Dadi Janki, that just creates such a beautiful atmosphere. How many of you have heard of or heard her speak earlier in the audience? It's so beautiful that invoking her presence, almost feeling that divine energy, and I'm so delighted to be doing this today. So you've been a great audience. Thank you. I would take the next step to invite our special guests, our spiritual leaders who've joined us today. First up, Brahmacharini Shubhani Chaitanya, if you'd like to join us on the stage here. Brahmacharini Shubhani Chaitanya is a disciple of Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. She was born in Manila, Philippines, and moved to New York as a growing teenager. After working in the fashion industry for several years, she decided to take a sabbatical to find her true calling. She most recently completed the 2-year Vedanta course in 2016. I guess that's a bit from recent, but yeah, it's like 6 years, where she was initiated as Brahmacharini Shubhani Chaitanya. She brings natural wisdom and compassion to her classes and loves sharing with people the signs of happiness that is Vedanta. So a warm welcome to Sister Shubhani. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite our special guest, our loving Sister Gayatri, to the stage. Sister Gayatri, please would you join us on the stage? Sister Gayatri has been a student and teacher of Raja Yoga meditation for over 40 years. That is 2 years after I was born. Just to put things in perspective, so I feel very honored and privileged to be here today. She's also Brahma Kumari's representative to the United Nations. As the BK's liaison to the UN, her role is to connect what the UN is doing on a global scale within the social and humanitarian fields of development, and that in partnership with BK's experience and expertise in spiritual growth. So again, welcoming our panelists with a round of applause. So this is how we will do this. This is a conversation more than a panel. if I could request you to, okay, I should go, okay, right? You always listen to the seniors. So I've been looking to the conversations today. As I have leading to the event, as I've learned more about both of you, I think the audience is also up to speed now. What we're hoping to do is we are celebrating two things today. We are celebrating the 75th Indian independence. Sister Madhvi shared about what does independence mean, right? And we said love, we said peace, but it also means, especially the spirit of India, the soul of India, is this whole notion that we are so diverse and still inclusive, right? This whole notion of non-violence, and of course the gift of spirituality. So we are, and as we talk about touching the light, there are two, I think of it as two types of light. There is this inner light that we in the West we call as consciousness or energy, and then there's the supreme source of power, the light. And the open secret is that both are connected, both, and everyone knows that we still continue to discover how really we practice and get deeper in our journey to becoming more spiritual. So what I'm hoping to understand, and I hope some of the audience also would like to know, is as each of you took this path, or took a direction towards this path, what was that moment, right? Or what is a moment? Was it a phase? I personally, I meander a lot around which way I'm going. And then if you could share a bit about how did you feel as you did that, as you went through that journey. And the other part we would like to, I think audience would like to know, is your connection and experience with the spirit of India. So if you could, share a bit about your journey as well as your connection to India, we would love to hear that. And if from the audience, if you have any, if you will have the opportunity to ask questions, Kush, you would help us pass on the mic. If you have a question as we move along, feel free to raise your hand and we will bring a mic to you and you'll have that opportunity to ask the question to our spiritual leaders here today. So who would like to go first?
I'll also listen to the seniors. Om Shanti, everybody. And first, I'm very honored and privileged to be sitting here with Sister Gayatri and Abhishek Bhai. Thank you for this opportunity. And just to maybe share what brought me here is to this journey, to the spiritual journey, is discontentment. I think that, at some point in our lives, we get tired and bogged down. We feel like we've done everything that we could, and we were hoping to find some source of peace, some just even a full moment of peace. But we feel it for a few seconds, and then again, something else happens, and again, something else happens. And we do have our moments of success, and we do have our moments of praise. But then again, there's a downward hill. So I sat down and I said to myself, what is this life? Is it always going to be like this? Is it always going to be these ups and downs? And will I ever find a steady source of contentment? Or will I keep running around trying to find it in so many places, being with so many people, traveling to far countries? Am I going to find it there? And so this led me to sort of take a sabbatical from my job. I was working at the fashion industry at that time. And I must have been about 27 years old. And I went to my boss and I said, can I take you out to lunch? And he said, sure. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to retire. He said, retire? I said, yeah, I think I'm going to retire. I really need to think because I'm not finding what I'm looking for here. I can't sit, I can't sit here anymore. I'm not doing justice to my life, nor to you and to everybody here. And that's not correct. And so I left and I went to the only place where I know I would find something, and that is Bharat Mata, our beloved India. I knew that just when I touched her, the land, when I just touched Bharat with my head to the land, that I would find something there. And I did. That's where I found what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. And that was to serve. I wanted to be able to serve, to give, to think, to read, to reflect, to write, and most of all, to seek. And so that's how it started.
Thank you, Shivani. I didn't know you were from the Philippines. I think you were born there. Well, you know, our spiritual journey is so unique to each and every one of us. And yet it seems so similar. I was also not born in India. I was born in a country called Guyana. Many of you may have heard about that country. And it actually used to be ruled by the Dutch and then ruled by the British. And it was called British Guyana, and then it was Guyana. It was a land of, or it still is, a land of 6 races. And so it was very diverse. Growing up in a country like that, as a Hindu, I was born a Hindu, you get very exposed to the Hindu religion, because the way that our forefathers, then our great-grandfathers, and then our grandfathers, and then our fathers, so this lineage, the way they kept close to India was through religious practices. Unlike Africa, which is closer to India, the continent of Africa, we didn't maintain the language and the dress, but we definitely kept close to India through the practice of religion. And that was how I was brought up by my grandparents, great-grandparents. But then my parents sent me to a Catholic school. I went to a Catholic school, a convent. And of course, then I got exposed to Catholicism because the school was run by nuns. And that was an exposure that, you know, made me appreciate the life of Jesus Christ as I was appreciate the lives of the deities. We heard about Arjuna, we saw the beautiful dance of Meera and Krishna, and we saw the beautiful dance depicting Shiva. So I was exposed to that, and I was exposed to the life of Jesus Christ. But what struck me, what brought me to a spiritual path wasn't religion. I had no problem with religion. I thought religion is something that had its place in people's lives and was a very important part of people's lives because it grounded us in a morality that no other discipline could. What brought me to spirituality was living in a land of 6 races. Each one had their own orientation to not only who they were as individuals and as communities, but one started working against the other. It was like, you know, what we have here now in countries in which you have racial unrest. And so people started identifying as races. I belong to this race, I belong to this ethnicity, I belong to the other. And then when the Brahma Kumaris came to Guyana, they actually, in 1975, when the UN celebrated the International Year of Women, one of the Brahma Kumaris came. And of course, you heard from the Assemblywoman that we are one of the largest spiritual organizations headed by women. So she came in and she started talking about a spirituality that I felt was very inclusive. And so you asked for that moment that shifted me. And that moment was, I walked into their center. I saw a light on the wall depicting an image of the Supreme Being. And when I looked around, I saw people from different racial backgrounds sitting there looking at this light. And I remember profoundly experiencing that if God truly existed, he would exist or she would exist in a form that goes beyond that which makes us feel so different from the other. And that is our physical form. God is one, and God would touch us in a way that would go beyond the races and the gender and the bodies. And it was that moment I realized that a spiritual path was the path for me. That was my moment, a aha moment. And you know, that song, I felt the earth move under my feet. That's how I felt. The earth literally moved under my feet. And then because I started this path of Raj Yoga to explore the meaning of what soul is, what supreme soul is, what is this law of karma that we seem to understand so little of, that we're messing our world up through our actions. All of these things I began to understand the depth of, and that brought me to India. And one of the things that I enjoyed being in India was actually the trees. I don't know if you all take your trees or we take, now I consider myself a fourth generation India. I'm getting my OCI card, so I have to say we. The trees, and I felt that the soul of India was like a giving tree. Do you know that story about the giving tree? That you know, the children play, the tree grows, the parents, you know, plant these trees, and then the tree grows, and then the children play around the trees, and then they swing on the trees, and then the trees give them fruits. They study under the trees. They do so many, they live under the trees. And then they keep taking, and the trees kept giving and giving and giving. And then until one day, I want this, the tree gives it. I want a house, take my wood. I want money, take my leaves. I want this, take this. You know, I want to eat, take my fruits. And then eventually everything was cut down from the tree and just a stub was left. And then the tree says to the old person, take my wood, take this stub, and when you die, make your pyre. So the tree gives from the time the child is born to the time the person passes on. So I see India, the soul of India, like that. And I really connected to that aspect of service, that India serves and India never stops serving. And the soul of India is what serves. It's not the system. India existed as a soul long before independence. And that soul kept serving, and that soul will continue to serve. And that's the kind of service I think I connected to when I said yes to being a world server, because India serves the world. And that's my connection to India as a soul.
Thank you, Sister Gayatri. It's amazing that you had this moment where you saw the light and you saw how everyone oriented towards the light. And I was curious, you talked about experiencing different religions and cultures. You talked about experiencing Hinduism, experiencing and being in a Catholic school. Growing up, I grew up in a Punjabi family. So my mom would go about doing certain rituals that maybe she got from her parents or her grandparents. And I would ask questions growing up, right? Hey, why do we do this? Why do we do that? And So the answer I usually get beyond a point. I mean, I'll get some answer at the surface, but then beyond a point, we just do it. It's a belief. I think many times we see something, we trust it, and we believe it. But then there is this whole chasm to cross over from belief to conviction. I was curious on because when you see a religion, how do you kind of see commonalities or differences between different religions that you experience, and how does one cross that chasm of believing to conviction? I did not give the questions to them first, as you can see.
So, in relating to other religions and other faiths, one thing becomes so clear to me is that we're all on the path to evolve. We might have different definitions of God, different ideas of what liberation means. But in all religions that I have seen and I have been part of, there is this will to become a better person, to manifest the divinity within. And in that way, we can connect. I also, like Sister Gayatri ji, I also grew up in a Catholic school in the Philippines. So my parents took me to a church. I've been to a synagogue. I've been to a mosque. I've worshipped at a temple and a gurudwara. And in all of those places, everyone's trying to connect to the higher. So if we can stop seeing just our bodies, stop looking at our bodies, stop looking at the color of our skin or our religion or our culture. But when we say namaste, we say you and I are one. What we're saying is see what's beyond there, because beyond that, you and I are actually one. There is no two. We are actually one. And if you and I can start from even just this namaste or Om Shanti or Hari Om, if we start from this, if we start from a place of oneness, then we can connect. And not only can we connect, but we can celebrate the diversity that each religion and culture brings. It's such a wonderful opportunity and setting to bring people of different places and backgrounds together so we can truly see how we are one.
Thank you.
You know, these two words, belief and conviction, they're two very strong words. And I think that they're words that create a divisiveness in and of itself. Semantically, it creates a divisiveness. Because the moment you say belief, the question is, what am I believing in? And when I ask that question, what do I believe in? So I'm saying, well, I believe in this, but I don't believe in that, right? And conviction is, it sounds a little bit dogmatic. Do I have to believe in something in order to be, to be dedicated to it, to be committed to it, in order to have that conviction? Because what I'm saying, this is right, and that is not right. Conviction usually takes me to that level. And so for me, a spiritual path takes us beyond belief and conviction. And it takes us to what really matters. At the end of the day, who am I? But I can't know who am I outside of who you are. And that is why in Africa, they have this beautiful concept of Ubuntu. I am because you are. I don't exist outside of you. I mean, maybe that's what you're calling the oneness. And so if I were to explore that question of who am I have to do it outside of belief and conviction. Because if I enter the answer to who am I with belief and conviction, I'm conditioned. I am influenced. I am not exploring the true, authentic self. I am still with the layers of identity. looking at myself. And so I feel that it's the same with religions. And I'll just share two very small examples. One is to get to Abu, you arrive in Ahmedabad, and then you drive on, now there's beautiful roads, but before there were bumpy roads to get there. And then you go up the mountain. So you take what, 20 hours, 24 hours to get to India. And then you have another 4 hours driving from the airport up. But on the way up, there is this Amba temple. And then once we were going up and they say, why don't we stop for a break and go to the Amba temple? So I said, and you have to go over with these cable cars, and you go to the temple. And I went to the temple just to see it like a tourist. But it seems as though as soon as I entered the place where the idol was of Ambaji, the arti started. And it was this loud noise. And I felt my entire being. That noise went into my entire being. And it was as though I was riveted. It wasn't noise. It wasn't sound. It was something that encapsulated my entire being. And in that moment, I realized that if I were to think of it with belief and conviction, I wouldn't have been so taken into an experience of what this particular ceremony should mean to my soul, and not to just what I understand. And so that's one thing I feel when we're experiencing religion, when we're experiencing people's cultures and people think other things, it means that we have to go into the experience of it. And that experience is not going to be governed by a belief or a conviction. It's got to be really open. The other experience I had was, because I went to a Catholic school, I was in Jerusalem post-COVID 2019. And I can't go to Jerusalem and not go to Bethlehem, can I? Nobody can do that, and nobody should do it. You must cross that border. So I went over to Bethlehem because why? I wanted to see where Jesus Christ was born. I wanted to go to that stable. And I went there, and it was an incredible experience, because to enter into that stable where Jesus Christ was born, it's a low door. And the guide is saying to me, you have to go through that door. And I'm saying, really? He said, yes. And I said, he said, and don't you realize what you have to do? And I said, no. He said, you have to bow. So because the door is low, you can't get in like that. You have to bow and then go in. And in that moment, when he said that to me, I realized that entry into the stable epitomizes the life of Christ, of Jesus Christ. It was a life of love and humility. And so in order to meet this baby in the stable, you had to evoke that virtue of love and humility, which wasn't about beliefs and which wasn't about dogma.
That's pretty amazing. Thank you, Sister Gayatri, for that insight. So it's really experiencing what we are going through with the religion as a ritual. So the act of bowing down is not for the body, it's for the soul submitting to something bigger, and then experiencing and then building that forward. Beautiful. Okay. I wanted to give an opportunity to the audience to see if they have anyone has any questions that you'd like to ask, or any reflections. You are welcome to do so. I see one hand in the back. Okay. All right. Well, you have that opportunity. Just raise your hand and we'll find you. Kush will bring the mic to you.
Any question?
Questions?
Yeah, any question? Yeah, how can get a peace in the life? How I can get a peace in life, in every circumstances?
So how can I get peace in life in any circumstances? That's anything happens around us, around me. How do I ensure what's that insurance policy to get peace in life? I think that's what the brother is looking for.
There's a story of a king. And at that time, everyone would walk barefoot. And in his kingdom, there were lots of rocks and pebbles, and there were holes. And basically, the ground was very uneven and very, very rough. And so the king said to his minister, he said, I'm tired. Every time I go out, it hurts. I'm either stepping on a big rock or a pedal or uneven surface. It's too much. It's too painful. I don't want to walk anymore. Maybe I should stop walking and stop going out. And so the minister said, don't do that. Just give me one day and I will get back to you. And so the next day, the minister got back to the king. And what did he do? He made shoes. He said, don't worry, O king. This is a new invention that I'm giving you. It's called chappal. It's called shoes, slippers. Put this under your feet. And when you put this under your feet, you can go walk wherever you want to walk and you will be fine. Even if there are pebbles and rocks, you won't even feel them because your feet will be protected. What are our chappals? Our chappals are the connection to God, the connection to divinity. When we have that, we will always be at peace. Even if the road is in pieces, we will be at peace. So that is the answer.
So how can I have peace in my life? So it means we want peace in our lives because we are in pieces, right? We are in so many different pieces. We've broken our hearts in many different pieces. We've sold our souls to so many people, ideologies, to money. In God we trust is on the dollar, right? And then we wonder how we've lost our peace. Well, we lost our peace because we broke ourselves into pieces. And so how do we bring back ourselves and heal all those broken pieces? That's the question. And why do we come to places like this? Why do we gather together? So that we could be reminded about things that we already know. So the fact that I'm asking, how can I be peaceful? How can I have peace? Subconsciously, something is telling me I have it inside of me. So how do I bring it out? How do I bring to the surface that which I already know? How do I emerge from within me that which I have is the question. So when we say this word, Om Shanti, Om Shanti means I am peace. So if I'm saying I am peace, what's the thing that is wrong here? What is wrong is I'm saying it, but I'm not feeling it. And so how do I bring something that I'm saying to myself, and it's called reaffirmation. I'm affirming a truth. And this is where the soul comes in. I'm affirming a truth about who I am. And the truth about who I am is I am peace. But I'm not feeling it. I'm not experiencing it. Why? Because I don't know who I am. I know who people told me I am. I know how I want to please others, and I know the expense of doing that. And so, brother, I would say to you, your whole life may have been spent pleasing others, giving to others, doing things for others. If you really want peace, give some time to yourself. Take your time back and spend it discovering something that's lying within you that is waiting for you to emerge it and feel it. And that is your peace. So not only say I want it, but claim it. It's your spiritual right. Reclaim it. Now, as Sister Shubhani said, you may need a little help. And so the second meaning of Om Shanti is connect to God, because God is the ocean of peace. And then experience God. You don't have to believe, you don't have to be convicted, you don't, the conviction doesn't have to be there. It's not that you have to be convicted, of course, but you have to have the conviction. No, just have a relationship with God as the ocean of peace. But the important thing is to feel the peace. It's easy, but you have to give time back to yourself. You have to take yourself back and discover who you are and feel what's inside of you, and that's peace.
Thank you, Sister Gayatri. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to, I was inspired to say something. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Regina Sakrani. So as soon as you hear Regina, you know I'm a very good Catholic name, right? And then you hear Sakrani, and I'm a very good Hindu Sindhi name. And I'm here to tell you that I have been married happily for 42 years to a very nice Hindu gentleman. And I grew up in a very strict Christian Catholic home in Bangalore. And in our compound, when we grew up, my neighbors were Muslim and Hindu and Christian. And we celebrated each other and all our religions and all our celebrations, and we were one. And when I came to this country, I moved into an apartment building where every door had a mezuzah, and I celebrated all the Jewish celebrations of Passover and Hanukkah. So just sitting here this afternoon, I just wanted to say that I think the thing that really unites us is what that young lady said, love and God. So whatever our religion may be, I feel if you have love and acceptance, God brings us together.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a beautiful example of, we talk about diversity and inclusivity, right? Such a living example. Thank you for sharing our experiences.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Om Shanti.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
I'm Chandra Dubey, and I'm from Guyana, like my friend here. Now, I need to ask a question. You should know this, that in Guyana, we have a high rate of suicide and murder and all of these negative things. How do you propose eradicating that from our society there? I think there are a few here also in the United States here. What do you think about it, and how do you think we can get rid of that situation? Thank you.
You can answer that. Thank you for that question. And I'm just back from Guyana. I was there for 10 days. I just came back last week. And we do have a Brahma Kumaris center there. There's also a Sai Baba temple there. There's also a Vivekananda. I mean, you drive from one part of the country to the other, you see lots of temples, lots of. But what is very important, I feel, it's this whole thing of indoctrinating people. So there may be a high suicide rate and there may be crimes, which happens, you call them murders. But how do you feed and nurture the souls of human beings who would turn their lives around in a way that they would reclaim their worth? They would feel that they are worth something. Now, the reason that and I think it's not just in Guyana, it's actually across the world, but of course, because that's our land, it's small, you tend to see it. And so I find that when I was there in 2020, it was a very different scenario. There was like a hopelessness. I was there now, and there was a rising of hope. And I feel it's because I know the Brahma Kumaris are moving more into the community and talking to people, talking to women who are experiencing domestic violence. Right now, a group of my friends couldn't be here today because the Jahaji women are having a celebration here, right here in Queens, because of domestic violence. They have formed themselves into a group, and they're doing the same thing, nurturing the souls so that they could reclaim that self-worth, so they could have the confidence to stand up against atrocities. And so it is a matter of going to them and being with them and nurturing them and talking to them with the aim of reaffirming their worth in themselves. Because we live in a world in which that's the main assault, a world that takes away the dignity. It strips the human being of their dignity. And what is going to reaffirm that dignity is to teach people you have worth. And when you recognize your own worth, you won't destroy your life, because there's always going to be a reason for you to do something better for yourself. Nobody would do anything to make someone else feel better, right? They may try, but the person themselves have got to reaffirm that I am worthy, I have dignity, and no one can take that away from me. I can give it away, but no one could take that. And I find that once you kind of sow that seed over and over and over and over, they get it. And once they get it, there's no turning back. So we're trying that approach to help people not have death by suicide, and to have people to recognize that human life is a worthy life, and you just don't have that crime against them, do anything that would take that away from them. So that's our mission. That's the purpose of the Brahma Kumaris. That's what we do all the time.
Thank you. Mr. Madhvi, I see you have the mic in hand. How are we on time?
No, no, I'm not stopping. Meditation, we'll wind up with meditation.
Sure.
Whenever your conversation is done.
I think we are at that point. So sir.
I'm going to be asked to do the meditation. So Shubhani, would you like to say something in closing?
No.
Well, I thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you so much for joining us today at Brahma Kumaris. One of the things that we practice is, when one is, please have a big round of applause for both our panelists. And one of the things that we do for a peaceful applause is we call it Ek Haath Ki Tali, and we raise our hand like this to show respect and gratitude for our panelists. Thank you so much, sister. So with that, I'll pass it on to you, sister, to guide us through a meditation. Thank you.
So I'll invite you now to join me in a short meditation. And I'd like for us to use the image of the first dance, that dance that was dedicated to Shiva, to Lord Shiva. And I'd like you to connect to this being, Shiva. Shiva who is Satyam, who is the truth. Shiva, who is Sundaram, the beautiful. And Shivam himself, the benefactor. And I'd like us to focus on the soul of Mother India. And I'd like us to be in the awareness of being souls, seated in the center of my forehead, the Atma. The soul of India is like my mother. Timeless. Soul of India is eternal. A land that is imperishable. Is the birthplace of the Supreme Soul. It is the land on which the dance of Natraj is being performed. The soul of India is directly touched by the light of Shiva. The light of Shiva's truth. the soul of India. And I say namaste to the divine dance of Shiva. Sister Gayatri, Sister Shivani, and Brother Abhishek for such enlightening conversations. What a beautiful, rich afternoon we had, which touched upon so many elements. The element of spirituality, God, love, togetherness, dance, and also honoring both the lands of India and America with national anthems. I'm just feeling so beautiful right now, with so much of richness. And so thank you to time and the nature for supporting us. Don't you think so? Yesterday we had such rain, and today, absolutely the nature supported us. So we just had meditation, so I don't want to say much, but definitely I want to say thank you to each one of you for being here, for making your contribution. Your presence, your vibration means a lot. Kush, you did wonderful. Thank you. And all the performers, thank you so much. Yes. Abaroy, it was so mesmerizing, your dance. You just made us all Meera. Well, and think of Krishna and dance for Krishna. And I have no words, Pavitra, how beautifully you have made Shiva's presence. You have invoked Shiva, God Shiva, amongst all of us here. So each one of you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kaluswari, for being with us this afternoon. I know you have so many events, so much again. Now you have to go to another event, I know. But thank you so much for sitting, for being with us. Your presence is elevated. So thank you for being with us. Each one, sorry if I did not take anybody's name, that doesn't mean I didn't acknowledge. But also I want to just thank each and every one of the team, Brother Gokul, Kush, Sister Rupa, Sister Priya, Sister Kavita, Narayan Bhai, of course. Wait, I'm thinking I'm missing one more name. Of course, Madhvi. No, one more name. Help me out. Did I miss out? Shamishta. Shamishta. Where is Shamishta? Oh, she's sitting there. Thank you. Thank you, each one, and all the sisters, all the centers coming, and each one of you. Thank you for taking time and being here. As you all know, we have a meditation center in Queens, in Elmhurst.
You all are most welcome to come. We have sessions going on. Come and bring your beautiful presence and make the place more valuable. So thank you, each and every one. And I'm not sure how we are going to do the blessings and Toli. Sister Gayatri, are you going to give each one?